So Aries, your week commencing the 6th of January forecast begins in dramatic fashion with your ruler Mars continuing its opposition to Pluto initially. But even when it inverts into Cancer later on Monday, it's still within a couple of degrees of that conflict because essentially Mars and Pluto are the two planets of strife. They're also the ruling planets of the sign of Scorpio. If you have been finding it a bit difficult to balance what you want as an individual, the fifth house energy of the Mars position in Leo, and what someone else wants from you in terms of a collaboration or a friendship, that may have shown up. But if you're unsure about where to live, how to live there, who with, about anything to do with a structural issue in terms of improving a property, you could find yourself rather frustrated perhaps through to the 18th of April, or you can submit particularly through to the 24th of February while the retrograde's still ongoing, to understand that there may be some inner work that is valuable for you to proceed with. But there is also at the start of this week that tangle between Mercury, which for you is in a very explorative part of your chart, the ninth house, could stimulate your appetite for travel. That's in a sluggish right angle to Neptune. There may be someone around you, or there may be information that you're absorbing that's actually not very good for your soul. I think it's important to be a bit more protective, and Mars in its retrograde in Cancer can help you to be precisely that. But if you do need to speak to someone about a more worldly, practical or financial issue, the planet of commerce, Mercury, moving to the top of your chart on Wednesday will certainly help that process. In fact, it joins with the Sun, which itself forges a stunning angle to Uranus towards the end of this week. Innovation isn't usually something we think about in terms of Capricorn. Capricorn is much more to do with sustaining what's well established and traditional. But it's also about leadership roles. It can be about goals and ambitions. And if you change your approach and flex and perhaps try some different techniques, it could actually present a golden opportunity towards the end of this week. But of course, Jupiter, the planet of knowledge, does continue a right angle with Saturn. So I feel the square between Mercury and Neptune and also Jupiter and Saturn suggests steer clear of anyone this week who tends to be a little bit loose in terms of confidentialities. And if there are people around you who tend to be a bit draining energetically, that's also where you may want to keep your boundaries more firmly in place, particularly because the quarter moon on Monday in your sign, followed by the square between Chiron in your sign and the Sun on Thursday, is saying that it's important to understand the benefits that the North Node has given you over the last year and a half as it's made its way through your sign. But at times, what you need as an individual might not quite conform with what other people's expectations are. So you could encounter a bit of that this week too. But on Friday, as late in the day, the North Node particularly inverts out of your sign and into Pisces. That's a very powerful event, particularly as it immediately aligns with the Moon and Neptune. You could find yourself towards the end of this week actually wanting to keep the demands of the world very much at an arm's length. Although you have Venus in your 12th house, it's been Saturn over the last couple of years that I think has been particularly bruising. There may have been some big events in your situation that have been very tender, but the North Node moving there can give you the opportunity to unravel, unpick, or to really embrace the concept of additional healing in your situation. But with Venus in your 12th house, if there is a relationship which lacks sincerity, you're not absolutely sure you can rely upon someone, as this week draws to a close, that need to just step back and shelter or go somewhere that's quieter, more reflective and peaceful, can be very strong indeed. Have a great week, Aries. And if you've yet to watch your year 2025 deep dive video, please see the link beneath this one.